One of my greatest fears in life is burning out. I'm the type of person who wants to keep going, keep moving, keep trucking on. I'm the type of person who gets a cold in the winter and is furious at themselves about it. Furious at the audacity of my immune system to let me down. So as you can imagine, burning out to the point of malfunction is my idea of hell. Frustratingly, it's happened a couple of times, which is why it scares me so much. It always seems to happen when I'm on a roll with something and then boom, it hits me. It feels like I take a step forward in life and then burnout drags me 10 steps back by the scruff of the neck. August has been full on. I feel like the summer always is. More daylight hours to work, socialise, and do whatever else we need to squeeze into our week. Rest takes a backseat. But it's September now, and I need to find a way to get to the end of the year without feeling like I burnt my candle to smithereens. Never mind both ends. One thing I thought might help is a change of scenery. So I've come to Canterbury for a walk around and a browse in the bookshops. I forget how magical this city can feel, especially when it's in the morning and there aren't many other people around. I'm just taking the sticker off my book. I've been to a couple of bookshops, which are the only shops really that I go in nowadays because I find the others too overstimulating. I got this Kew Gardens puzzle book because I am concerned about the amount of time that I obviously spend on screens and at computers and how much I use technology to help me. Technology is great, but I feel like we probably rely on it too much and it's hard to get out of the habit. So I thought if I had a puzzle book and actually use my brain in a way that I'm not used to, it might be quite helpful. I quite like this Kew Gardens one because it looked quite pretty and green. So I'm planning to leave this in the living room and then do a little bit every day or when I get bored. It's been a really nice morning. I am very guilty of staying in the same place and going to the same places the whole time, but it's been really nice to actually just get some new inspiration. I do love coming to Canterbury. There are some really nice little secret spots that I really like. This gardens with the river is so beautiful in Canterbury. It's such a nice place to just come and sit, but sometimes it's nice to just absorb people's energy a little bit and get lifted from that. It's so nice to see all the flowers and the bedding. One of my worst experiences of burnout was when I was working full-time in London. I'd been through a couple of heavy years, 2 horrendous breakups and an eating disorder relapse. My coping mechanism was working 24/7 and partying during the hours in between. One day it just all got too much and my brain just said no. You can't carry on like this. You can't keep running from your feelings and you can't keep going at 100 miles an hour. And that was it. The tears came and they just didn't stop. For months. I couldn't work without experiencing a panic attack. I'd lie on the bathroom floor and work, wondering what the hell was happening to me and why I couldn't bring myself to leave the room. At the time, the only solution felt like quitting work. I was gutted to leave that job, but my body and my brain had left me with no other choice.
I think animals are really good for avoiding burnout. They release oxytocin. Oh my gosh, these flowers are really dead. I need to deadhead them. I like to try and make sure that I spend time just being. And I know a lot of people put pressure on, emphasis on meditating. And I put a lot of pressure myself to meditate. But actually just being, I think, can be just equally as important. So I spend a lot of time either sat in the living room looking out at the garden or just sitting on this step, enjoying the garden without any distractions. Like no need to have anything to listen to or to watch or to read, just looking at nature being nature. And I find it's really calming. This might sound like a wild suggestion, but a dash of oat milk in herbal tea is really nice. You don't need a lot, but it just adds a little bit of creaminess. Even peppermint, like if you like peppermint creams or anything like that, then I would definitely give it a try.
Occasionally, I feel silly for being so sensitive, and I can beat myself up into thinking I should be a better functioning adult. But then I remind myself how quickly life has changed. The rate of technological advancement is exponential. It's wild. It's so much for our brains to handle. I often tell myself that we're not designed for this fast-paced world. We were meant to be in little villages, cooking on open fires. This is why I love gardening so much and try to see it as medicine. I think it connects me back to that primal part of us all. If you'd have told younger me that I'd be spending my days off doing puzzles, then I definitely would not have believed you. I would have thought it was so uncool. But this puzzle book has actually been so much fun. George and I spent hours that night playing word Sudoku, which is so hard, by the way, oh my gosh. He is so good at things like that, so he taught me how to play it, and I'm kind of hooked.
I'm so excited to start a new book. I just finished Sophie Owen's other book, which was called How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days. And I really loved it, especially the ending. It just got really, really good towards the end. So I decided to buy her first book, which is A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. Reading for me is just such a nice escape from life. It really just resets my brain. I love being immersed in a new world, and there's just nothing as exciting as getting a new book and opening a new book. Just the potential to read an amazing story is really good, especially by an author that you already know that you love. This is going to help me chill out so much, especially stories that are quite light, set in a more simpler time, a more romanticized time. I'll let you know how this one goes.
When I was younger, I used to think resting was lying in front of Netflix all day while scrolling on my phone and eating comfort food. But it would actually just make me feel so much worse. I'd have cabin fever by the end of the day. My brain would be frazzled from social media, and I'd feel guilty for overeating and not moving my body. It took me time to learn that there were way more restorative ways for me to rest. I think resting probably looks different for everyone, but for me it's sitting down with a good book, opening up a journal, or doing something with my hands like gardening and baking. Baking and gardening feel similar to me. I love how you can create something from nothing. I also love that leaving bread overnight to rise makes it taste better, because I feel like it's some sort of metaphor for resting. I know that's so woo-woo of me, but it reminds me that to be the best version of ourselves, we have to take it slowly. Taking time off when it feels like the rest of the world is hustling can be hard. We're told that if we don't put blood, sweat and tears into something, then we don't deserve it. But one of the most valuable things I've learned is to ignore this way of thinking. It's not possible to reach your potential working 24/7. Just think about how great and recharged you feel after a holiday. Time away always leaves me feeling so inspired. As they say, you can't pour from an empty cup.
I know I've spoken about this a little bit before, but I kind of feel a little bit resistant to journaling at the moment. However, I don't have a therapist currently, so I feel like it is important to find a way to express my thoughts and feelings. George and I are really close, but I'm so guilty of using him as a therapist, a husband, a friend, everything. As much as I feel really comfortable around him, which is really nice, it's not always the healthiest option. Pretty soon, sitting outside like this is going to just feel like a distant memory. So I'm glad that I've come outside in nature to do this. It feels very healing. I actually heard that people are now suffering with NDD, which is nature deficit disorder. I have a walking pad, so it can feel really easy to just stay inside and know that I'm exercising, but I do actually need to make sure that I get outside as well.
I've been known to look for the silver lining when I can. And the good thing about experiencing such terrible burnout is that I can spot the signs of it immediately. If I get snappy, teary, or unmotivated, then I know I need to slow down. I've learnt that I'm not invincible. I've learnt that the right kind of rest needs to be a priority. And I've learnt that rest is just as productive as working. I'm so glad I took time for myself these past couple of days. I see myself just like I see this forest. I need time to hibernate before I can bloom again.